So right before this, we were talking about, general good habits with respect to neurosurgery.
Yeah, I think in that discussion itself, when we were having that, I guess I was telling you that the body doesn't compartmentalize a good, healthy practice. So I think in general we have a good set of healthy habits which we all know, and which I guess even our parents keep telling us, that we should do this and all that. So I guess maybe we can just enumerate a little bit now in the context of the brain and spine for that matter. So I think the most important is, the good night's sleep, uncluttered sleep. In this sense, usually we have a tendency to take in our mobile and keep on seeing the mobile till we actually, our eyes start burning.
Yeah.
I guess that's a very wrong way of sleeping nowadays. In a way, maybe the previous way we used to sleep was better, in the sense we take a book and read that, because you don't have that bright light coming into your eyes. So, good sleep. So, we usually tend to see a lot of these so-called celebrities, or the big guys who are there. They say that I sleep only for 4 hours a day and 3 hours a day. That's wrong. I mean, people shouldn't promote that kind of whatever, because whatever said and done, a person needs around 6 to 8 hours of sleep as a must. Okay. Some people may need 6 hours, but some people may need a little more than that. But 6 to 8 hours is the range in which we need to sleep. Okay. So, and if you really look at it that way, these very successful footballers, the guys who, even in spite of taking a good night sleep, they also have their afternoon naps, because it's very essential for them to maintain both the mind as well as the body's, ability to the peak of performance. So, this whole concept of I will sleep for 4 hours a day and all that is not, it's a BS according to me. Okay.
Yeah.
So, body needs that much of time to recalibrate itself for the next day. So, that's it.
So, do you think our body knows how much it needs to sleep?
Yeah, why not? See, I mean, I always believed in this kind of system where we are actually living in two different worlds. Mm-hmm. As in, one is a real world which is without any language. Okay. It's like the hardware and the software, basically.
Okay.
So, wherein, in spite of we giving a definition to whatever is happening in the real world, it happens irrespective of whether you put in a particular property or a language to that, or a definition to that.
Okay.
The other set of world is a virtual world where we are giving a definition, like we talk about sleep. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sleep means then we understand what is sleep, is you go and So, we have a definition for everything.
Okay.
So, that is, you try to understand the real world function through a definition, and you attribute some properties to that.
Okay.
But then doesn't mean that all the properties which are actually happening in the real world are, we are already, understood. Grasped or understood. So, that is the thing. So, when you talk about sleep or any other thing, we have to understand that there's always a gray area which we are not understood. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, in that, coming to your point, yes, body, irrespective of our virtual world, what we are in, the body has been there even before that. When did language start? In human beings,
maybe
it started
a few thousands of years
10,000 to 20,000 years back.
Maybe.
That's it.
Yeah.
But the bodies have been there from billions of years, right?
And for that matter, every other organism, they don't necessarily talk or anything.
Exactly. And they're still intelligent.
Yeah.
You see, an octopus, it's not even a vertebrate, but it's much more intelligent, and it shows features of intelligence which we now we are surprised about. Wow, how does it do like that? So I guess we have to come out of our virtual world we live in and then try to connect with ourselves much more deeply. That's what is important.
So, is it fair to say then that there may be some people who might require more than 8 hours of sleep, and their body would tell them if they need more than 8 hours
definitely.
of sleep?
I mean, see, eventually you need to realize that to feel, fresh and, active, you need some amount of time. And yes, like for example, I'll give you the example again. A larger build people, like lions are there, for example, or elephants are there, whatever.
Yeah.
So, depending on the kind of work they do, like say lions, a pack of lions, okay, they do a very physically active in terms of chasing the prey, running around, and then finally killing it and then eating that prey raw. So the amount of energy expenditure for all this is much, much more. So for the animal to come back to a normalcy later, it needs that much more time.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why if they say lions sleep most of the times, they're only active when they're hunting. So that's how it is. So for that, but again, for the same thing, if it is a smaller animal, or if the animal is not doing such highly intense works, then they may require less time to relax or get better. So everything is relative. It all depends on how much of your you have invested in the work you're doing. That much more relaxation you'll be requiring. To give another small analogy, if you have a smaller problem, it will take faster to solve that. If you have a much more difficult problem, it will take that much more time.
Right.
So you can take it in that way, in such a way that the body is trying to unravel a bigger problem, so you need more time for it. So that time it will sleep more.
So then, is it concerning if somebody sleeps for more than 8 hours or more than 9 hours? Is it a concern, or is it just a thing that?
If it is, see, that's what. So what you have to see in this is that if you have anything else along with this particular sleep tendency, anything else is there. So any other symptom which is disturbing. Sometimes you sleep more. The person may be a little depressed. He may not have anything, going in his life. So he may find solace in sleeping, just like we find solace in eating sometimes.
Right.
So you have to find out this thing. If it is matching in that, then you have to try to solve that or get him out of that. But if it's just one of that, say you had a very tiring day.
Yeah.
Very tiring day. You tend to sleep more.
Yeah.
Definitely you tend to sleep more.
No, so there have been days where I've slept like 11, 12 hours.
And that would have definitely been because you had already had a bad week or, very stressful week.
Yeah.
That's how it is. So,
but if it becomes a pattern, then it may be something that you might want to check out.
Yes, if it becomes a pattern without, as I told you, without the
any stimulus as such.
Without the intense, active day exertion you had, either physical or mental, then definitely it's a problem. As I told you before, the footballers, they all sleep a lot, actually, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So that's how it is.
And you also mentioned something about taking an afternoon nap, and then it is also considered unhealthy to have a nap right after a meal. So how does that work?
Yeah. So tendency is that when you take when you have food, when you have food, what happens is the digestive tract is loaded with food.
Yeah.
So now what happens is the blood, in general, you have around 5 liters of blood running in your body. So the blood is pushed preferentially more into the digestive tract. Because you need to digest the food, absorb the food. So for all that, there is more blood supply to your digestive tract. That is, through your parasympathetic system, the blood supply flows to the digestive tract. So in the process of the blood getting diverted preferentially to the digestive tract, the blood supply to your brain comes down. That is the reason you start feeling sleepy. So feeling sleepy after a meal is natural. So if you take a half an hour or whatever time your particular this thing is, you should take rather than not take. It all depends on your this thing. In the sense, if you feel like taking a nap, do take a nap. That's what I'm saying. Here, what is important is we listen more to outside advice than actually listening to our bodies ourselves. So that's where I come in, because I feel like taking a nap in the afternoon on a Sunday, because I don't have anything else to do after that.
Yeah.
Similarly, if you have already something in mind, irrespective of how much you have eaten, you will still be active, isn't it? Because your body has made sure that whatever preferential, more blood flow going to the GIT, that your digestive system, still the brain is getting the enough supply. That's why you'll be active. So, but when on a weekend or a Sunday when you're free and you're eaten something in a good meal, that time because nothing is there in your mind, which is taking your attention, you tend to relax and then sleep. So, listen to your body, and if it says you feel sleepy, please do sleep for 40 minutes or half an hour, whatever it is. There's no harm in that. Yeah.
And this is, I think, a cultural part in Japan, where, or I may be mistaken about the country, but they do have the system where they just bring a little pillow to their desk. After a meal, they have a little nap. That's
such a good, healthy habit, if you ask me. Yeah, it's true. And the That's the reason why we have even those words. You have a siesta, afternoon siesta. So that's the reason why we eat and then you have to take a brief nap. It may not be a complete like a sleep in the this thing, but yeah, a 45 minutes or half an hour nap.
So